Hello everyone, I hope you're well and still enjoying your home learning. I'm just here to explain this week's maths, which is going to be ratio. It's going to be the same as it's previously been, so you're going to have a different worksheet for every day of the week, and you can find those on the website and click on the image for the worksheet that you want. But we've also got some really helpful videos this week, so there's an additional document which will give you the links to the website where those lovely videos are. So I want you to go to the daily learning page to find those, and if you're stuck you can ask me. Because we're doing ratio, I just thought I'd give you a quick recap for what we were doing when we were last in school, because you might have forgotten. And it's one of those things, it's one of those mathematical words I think sounds a lot more complicated than it is. So what I want you to remember is when we talk about ratio, it basically means relationship. So if we're talking about the ratio of numbers, we're talking about relationship between those numbers. So some of you might remember in my sessions, or you might have had this with your teacher also, I gave the example of there being one class teacher to 30 students. So if I've got one class teacher and 30 students, my ratio is 1 to 30. So that's how we think of ratio. So it's quite a rigid, stuck relationship. So those numbers don't change. But if we're doing ratio questions, it might be that I imagined that I had not one classroom with one teacher and 30 children. I might have 2 classrooms or 3 classrooms. So what I'm doing there is multiplying my ratios by 2 or 3. So what happens there is my relationship of numbers get multiplied by that amount, and it happens on both sides. So what I'm going to do is, I've got a bit written down on a piece of paper here so you can see nicely. So if I was going to write ratio, I would have the number 1, the ratio symbol, which is really important, you need to use that, and then 30 for my 30 students. And you can see that I've drawn images to show you what that would look like. So I just want you to imagine in your head, if I had, so this is for my one classroom, if I had 2 classrooms, I would have 2 teachers, and have a think about how many students would be in there. So I've multiplied, well, it's opposite for me on this video, I'm sorry about that. If I'm multiplying my teacher by 2, I would have 2 teachers, because I've got 2 classrooms, not 1 classroom. So I'm going to multiply my students by 2 also. So just think in your head, what's 30 multiplied by 2? Yep, hopefully you've got that. It would be 60. So my new ratios, and I'm just going to write this as I'm talking to you, would be 2 to 60. For every 2 teachers we've got 30 students. And it would take me a very long time to draw those out, so I'm not going to do that. But that is what your ratio would look like, and it's really as simple as that. I'm going to give you one more example, which is one that we often use in the classroom, of a fruit bowl. So imagine that you've got 1 apple and you've got 3 pears. Your ratio between those numbers and those fruits, the relationship between them, is 1 to 3. So I've just drawn here, when I'm going to work out how to cover this up actually, I'm going to cover half of that up. So we've got the ratio of 1 apple to 3 pears. Nice and simple. I've got my ratio symbol, and you can see that I've got my numbers and my pictures to represent the same thing. But I want to multiply up my ratio now, but keep the relationship the same. So I'm going to double my amount of apples and double my amount of pears. So if I've got 1 apple and 3 pears in my fruit bowl, imagine you've got 2 fruit bowls now. So I want you to see if you can get the numbers before I reveal them. Give you a couple of seconds. You should have got 2 apples to 6 pears. And you can see there that our relationship has remained the same, because if we look at the 1 apple and 3 pears at the top, we've got 1 apple and 3 pears times 2. So imagine we've got 2 fruit bowls, but what it actually is, if I counted all of the fruits as a whole, we've now got 2 apples and 6 pears. Hopefully that made sense for you. If not, watch the additional videos that we've got on that website, have a go at the questions, and if you've got any questions, just send them through to me. Okay, good luck.